My name is Tyson McGuffin. Welcome to the McGuffin Show. We are on episode 25 here. I want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, Bemer Therapy. This episode is powered by Bemer Therapy. Appreciate you guys. If you guys are looking to dive into recovery therapy, Bemer is a great medical device that I've been using for the past 2 years now. Pushes out inflammation, lactic acid, makes you feel fresher. You can double the workload, that little added 5 to 10% that you're looking for as an athlete or just as a human being, and you're looking to live a more healthy, better lifestyle. Check out Bemer. You can go to my website, tysonmcguffin.com, go to the sponsor page and click on that Bemer link. Good stuff. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. K-Mac, what's up, buddy?
Hey man, just living the dream. Back in the cold. Cold.
It's cold, and so we're in a new setup here, as you can see, and it's our little side casita next to our shop, and it's flipping cold in here.
Well, I mean, especially we just came back from Vegas, right?
Which
in the mornings, Vegas can be a little chilly, but
Kyle's got a little sun on his face.
Oh yeah.
Gotta look tanned up.
Got to work that tan. It's a little bit seasonal, but if I can extend that out as long as I can, I'll take it.
Keep that tan going.
Keep it rocking.
No, it is always nice coming home after being in a nice sunny area, and it's cold. It's cold at home, but you're dark, and you go out to a restaurant and somebody's like, "Oh my gosh, did you just get back from somewhere?" And you're like, "Yeah, I actually do a decent amount of travel."
Right.
And yes, I am all tanned up.
You look more successful, thinner. It's just it's a side perk of the occupation, right?
Bring on the tone, Lot going on. We just got back from Vegas. This episode, a couple things we're going to be talking about is Hilton Head, APP, Vegas PPA, APP Stipend that just came out, kind of interesting, MLP, and how good my team discovery looks after the Hilton Head weekend. Come on. Match breakdown, and that is powered by Soccer TV. Appreciate you guys. We're going to be showing highlights of the men's final. I promise you the next episode, I will not be selfish and use my content. There was a crazy football game this last weekend. Illinois and Penn State went 9 overtimes.
Unreal.
I am going to a festival this weekend called Boo Seattle. It used to be called Freak Night. Now it's called Boo Seattle. So
first time to that, or did you ever go to it when it was?
I went to Freak Night back in 2016, and I dressed up as Captain Underpants.
No
I did Whitey. Oh yeah, check this out, Whitey tighties. I'm actually gonna pull up a photo. Whitey tighties. I had this pillow cover that I made into like a red cape, and then I think I wore these Chuck Taylors actually, and so this year, Meg and I are matching. So it's 2 days.
Okay.
But we're matching on day one. She's going to come as Captain Underpants. I'm going to come as Captain Underpants. I just got these whitey tighties from Tommy John's.
Oh, nice. You're breaking it back out.
I am. They're like silky whitey tighties. Oh, yeah.
Everybody's going to remember you as the Captain Underpants guy. But
I just got a few more tats this time.
Now you've got a partner in crime.
Yeah, so now I got a partner in crime. But yeah, we're going to dress up as Captain Underpants day one. And then we're going to go in day two with some onesies, with some animal fun onesies.
There you go.
But yeah, headliner DJs, 2 days. We got VIP. We actually got tables and bottle service both nights. So it's gonna be a little crazy. It's spending a little money.
Oh yeah.
But we
got to do it right.
When we travel, we like to stay high level, and we like to spend a little money.
So I know you're very comfortable in the a little bit of the nightlife scene,
the festival world.
How's Meg? Is she excited? Is she nervous? Are you happy?
Yeah, no. I mean, she trusts me, and she
show
knows
her the ropes.
She knows that I have done my fair share of festival going.
There you go.
And I've been a festival goer for the last probably 4 to 6 years. Obviously, I've dialed it down once I had a couple more kids, but. So she doesn't love going. She doesn't hate it. She doesn't mind the music. She likes house music. She probably doesn't like dubstep as much as me. Most people probably
doesn't like that greasy.
Doesn't like that
dubstep.
Blender, greasy, that heavy music. But she can dance to some bass house or electro house. It's funny. There's so many different genres of house music. There's electro house, bass house, heavy house. So
is it compartmentalized where there's like different rooms, different music?
Correct. Yeah. So there's 3 different rooms. The main stage is like all the main headliners, so it's a wide range of genres.
Yeah.
The second stage is all dubstep, and then the third stage is like funky house. So I'll be trying to pull her over to the dubstep stage.
Right. Come check this out over this way.
Anyhow, it's super fun. Meeting all my buddies there. We got a suite at the W downtown Seattle. We actually have a photographer coming in to like do photos in our room with like everybody dressed up from 5 to 6 o'clock tomorrow night.
Oh, no way.
So we're like doing the whole thing, got the suite, got food like being brought to our suite. All the homies are coming over with their girls. And so we'll pre-funk at our place for a couple hours, do the little photo shoot, and then cruise to the
head to the spot.
Yeah, head to the spot.
Awesome,
it's at the WAMU Theater, like right next to the Seahawk Stadium.
Okay, nice.
And we actually do have Seahawk tickets for Sunday. Now,
whether or not
we actually make it, I have no idea.
Flip a coin, right?
So I may be taking just a little bit of Adderall, just to kind of wire me up a little bit so I can go to that Seahawk game on Sunday.
Yeah, see if you can power through.
Yeah, if we're not too tired. But anyhow, so it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to see the boys and obviously spend time with my wife and just jump out of the industry, jump out of my professional side for a little bit, and
Well, you're so disciplined with so much going on, whether you're traveling or back home. It's probably nice to have a trip that has nothing to do with pickleball.
For sure.
Once in a while.
It is. Okay, so Hilton Head, Leia and Vivian. I mean, gosh, my MLP team is looking good. They're looking good.
Solid.
So obviously on our team discovery for the MLP, we have Leia, Vivian, Zane, who just kicked my ass in singles, and myself. So Zane and Viv ended up taking bronze at Hilton Head.
Yep. And a very good, I would say, like
good field.
Sometimes APP, caliber of players is a notch down from some of the teams at the PPA, but this was one of their bigger events. I thought the caliber of teams was
crazy.
High.
Thing is, that's Simone's best showing in mixed in the last 2 months, and it wasn't with Ben. I'm going to say that again. It was Simone's best showing in mixed over the last 2 months, and it wasn't with Ben.
They rolled.
What in the heck is going on?
It was a good draw too. Well,
J-Dub
J-Dub
and Simone.
Not just a singles guy. He got a couple of golds there in Hilton Head.
But J-Dub and Simone ended up winning, beat Jesse and Jay. And then, Viv and Zane ended up taking bronze. And then the very next day, Leia and Viv beat Catherine and Simone in 3 in the winner's bracket final. And then beat them in 3 again in the finals.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yep.
So Leia played the left. Leia played a pretty big role, did a good job of taking balls in the middle. But let's not forget Viv. I just lost to Viv this last weekend in mixed. And I'll tell you what, that two-handed counter is for real. And I told Viv, I'm like, I'm pretty sure when you were hitting that two-hand counter against me, I'm pretty sure that your hiney may have been touching the ground. Girl gets
nice
low.
Working the thighs.
I mean, jeez. Those have to be the most athletic legs in pickleball.
No, for sure. I mean, she's definitely one of, if not the most improved female on the doubles side, for sure. And got to be feeling pretty good. I mean, with these teams, you obviously know you're going to get good players in the draft, but to have people that were already planning on playing events together to build up that chemistry and then showing a lot of success, you got to be feeling pretty good. But you've never played with Zane in doubles yet.
Yeah, correct? So it's funny you said. Yeah, so great question. We played at World Pickleball Championships. The Team USA versus Team Europe. Right.
Oh, okay, nice.
And Zane and I played Jay and Pat.
Okay.
Granted, it's like a 20-minute match.
It's a different format.
Right, 20-minute match. We beat them, I don't know, it was 11-6 or something like that. But it's
one
game,
that.
20 minutes, who knows.
Yeah, but that's a good team, a very good team.
And to be honest, Z-Man told me this. He's like, dude, make sure you get me a win, because I'm pretty sure he had lost in mixed, he had lost in men's, and he had lost in singles. He hadn't quite gotten a win yet. So he told me like before the match, he's like, hey, get me a win.
Help me out, Tyson. Help me out. I can't go 0 for 4.
But, and then Zane obviously won the singles. Jack Foster made a nice little run. Foster beat Divier in the bronze. Kind of crazy. Beat him in 2. And then
I think he went 3.
Put up a good fight. Better than me, I'll tell you what.
I mean, Zane's been pretty dominant the last few tournaments.
For sure. I was thinking J-Dub was like going to end up with 3 medals in Hilton Head. But, obviously won the men's. Him and Frazier played...
Kohler
and Dawson.
And Callan,
Callan had a nice little showing. Mm-hmm. Good to see him back on that podium in that silver roll. And then Nunnery and Stone took bronze. Nunnery and Stone. Ended up beating. Did they beat Jay and Pat?
I do believe Jay and Pat got fourth, so they beat them in a game to 15 to slide in there.
Yep. Slide in. So let's see here. But
I don't know if we've seen Nunnery and Stone play much. This might have been their first time together, but two obviously very, very good players on their own.
For sure. But yeah, J-Dub got 2 golds. Leia ended up taking gold in women's, and then took silver in women's singles. Lost to Catherine in the finals. Catherine played well. Catherine's had a nice little run in singles the last couple tournaments.
She stepped it up. Yeah, she looked
Vegas. She looked good. I mean,
she looked really, really good. Yeah,
who would have thought that?
As dominant as Annalee's been. I mean, it mught be a top 3 gals, Leia, Annalee, and Catherine, might be a little bit of a matchup, favorite for sure. One way or the other going forward. We'll see those ladies play each other a lot over this next year.
Let's see here. So Foster makes a good run. So the venue looked nice, and if you're taking a look at some of the coverage that the APP did, shout out to Kyle Salenko. Always does a great job. Him and his crew there. ESPN3, or they showed it on ESPN3 as well. But so it looked super nice, and what you'll see is that you'll see a big crowd around one court. But hearing from some of the pros, I hear the venue was super, super tight. Like, it's always kind of tricky when the courts are lined up. I mean, if you have 4 courts lined up and there's not individual fences, it's a pain in the ass.
It is. No,
I mean,
it is.
even like PPA playing on grandstand when there was just 2. So there's championship court, and then there's, I guess, it's championship 1 court, and then championship 2 and 3.
Yeah, they had
when
3
you're on,
down the whole area.
When you're on 2 and 3, like there was if I was on 2, there was still plenty of balls coming over from court 3.
Stop play. Yeah.
And they were like 10 feet apart. In Hilton Head, they were like 6 feet apart. It was tight.
Yeah, it's probably a little too close.
So it's just it interrupts play. I mean, there's something to be said with like building a facility and having individual fence courts, and having your own space, or for teaching purposes. Like, I know it's nice for us to have individual fence courts, because players can get a lot more out of that. There's not balls rolling in all over. It's a little tougher for viewing purposes or for roaming for us, But I'm a fan of individual fenced courts.
Yeah, it breaks the rhythm, having balls on that much, especially if it's a tight match. But I guess, while pickleball at the pro level is still new and in its infancy, a lot of the big venues are a hybrid pickleball tennis facility. So
for sure,
I guess we just gotta make do until it gets on the bigger stage for a few more years.
It's true. Get on Missouri Pickleball Club's level. Every court's individually fenced, indoor, 17. I mean, the place is killer.
How nice of a spot was that?
Place is killer.
Yeah, awesome.
Place is killer.
Brand new.
So I'm gonna jump over to St. Louis here.
Okay.
This was not in my notes, but I'm gonna add that in because we had a freaking great time.
Yeah, we did.
We should tell the viewers about that private chef from Panama, baby, coming in just to serve up K-Mac,
rolling out the red carpet.
Rolling it out. So we ended up having a camp in St. Louis. There was a guy that was in our camp in Kansas City. His name was Greg. This guy's a complete baller.
For sure.
Coolest dude you'll ever meet. Owns a couple investment firms, has done very well for himself. And we basically just played with his clients over the weekend, and I kid you not, it was pretty easy. And
stayed at his house.
Flew in a private chef. Stupid. So basically, like, this guy has these private gatherings pretty much every night at his house. And it's like, all the bigwigs from St. Louis all show up at his house: doctors, attorneys, lawyers, people that he does business with, clients. But I mean, talk about like every single night there's a 2-hour or 3-hour dinner at this dude's house, and you can network, you can meet people. I mean, how many resources come out of just being involved with somebody like that?
Definitely the party you want to be invited to.
It's a party you want to, yeah, for sure.
I mean, just a networking
added education,
haven,
stocks. I mean, you
awesome.
can tap into all that stuff. So we got to kind of hang out for a couple days, stay at his house, slummed it upstairs. And we had he brought in a private chef from Panama that flew in the first night, served us that. We had like this squid with rice.
What did they call it?
And
I'm trying to remember the name.
And the squid has ink in it.
Yeah, it was a very authentic dish, and that's why he came in specifically from Panama. But yeah, it was all black. Yeah, and honestly, it didn't look like it was going to taste that great.
It did not
with the color,
but it was bomb.
Amazing. Yeah,
bomb. But we had dinner the first night. There was like 20 people there. We had dinner the second night at his house. There's about 40 people there. He brought in a bunch of clients. Brought in some of the people that were in our little hit with me type format. And then Sunday, Saturday we taught, or we kind of hit in for like 4 hours, and then Sunday hit in for about 6 hours, and then had a beautiful dinner at that restaurant. How good was that burger?
Oh, so good.
Oh my God.
Good.
It was good.
I mean, everything was amazing.
It was cooked in like butter and garlic. It was
super soft. The bun was just melt in your mouth.
Yeah. And to be honest, I felt so guilty going into Vegas, and I will be brutally honest here. We drank our life away over the weekend. I mean, I was slamming alcohol Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I have been you've been
a good boy with the diet.
I have been staying away from the devil's juice for a while now, but ever since Meg had Mac, and that morning after, we ended up slamming some champagne and have not looked back since. But we got some drinking done.
It was kind of tough.
And I mean, they had like a
tough
private,
in that dynamic to not.
They had like a private bartender every night serving up just yummy drinks, like that spicy margarita. I mean, stop.
No, everything made custom. Yeah, it had personal bartender
Taking
going
care of
around, whatever you want.
Okay, find someone like Greg and keep that person in your life.
Can every camp be that way?
I'll tell you what.
I could get used to that.
Anyhow, great time. But we flew home Monday, kind of hung out Monday, and then got everything packed for Vegas, and then flew out for Vegas Tuesday.
Over to Vegas. So
boom, boom, boom. Okay, so let's see here. Let's jump into Vegas PPA. So one thing I'm going to say is don't show up to the dance just to sit in the corner and put your finger in your mouth and do nothing. Okay.
No, I know you've told me this, and I always thought it was interesting because I hadn't thought of it that way. You said you hate finishing both fourth and second, right? Because we feel like when you get there, you're just that close to gold.
Show up and show out,
right? You have your chances. So
it's like that match to get into bronze. I hate losing, and then it's like if you make the dance, like seal the deal and tear the dance floor up. And I was talking to my wife about this last night, and my mom, it's tough with the whole Championship Sunday thing. And luckily, this is the first time it's happened to me where I've made a couple finals, I think 2 or 3 times in Championship Sunday, but I've never lost 2 finals in a row. And so, you play well all weekend. I go undefeated Thursday, go undefeated Saturday, and then show up Sunday, and then I lose 2 matches, best 3 out of 5, and then I'm done playing.
Right.
It just leaves a bad taste in your mouth when you were so successful 2 days in a row, and then you show up and we lose in 5 to a very good team. Deckel Barr, the guy's for real.
He can take over a match as well as anybody with his aggressive, with jumping around and flying around, and what you think is safe is not a safe area of the court with Deckel. And I'm sure Riley, was in a similar boat where had just lost in 5 in mixed, and so you got to really dig deep to kind of get yourself emotionally even keel to be ready to play another final when you're dealing with a heartbreaker like that. For sure. So a couple things here. No Benny on Sunday. Catherine and Jesse won 2 golds. AL won 2 silvers. Rye won 2 silvers. I won 2 silvers. 2 silvers. And then sold out camp Monday, Tuesday. Had a great time. And then if Kyle and I have seen this various times, nothing against the PPA, because truly enjoy those guys, and they ran a killer tournament at the Darling Tennis Center, and they've been running great events all year long. But it looks like a bomb gets dropped on the venue when we show up for camp Monday morning. It's like the day after a concert, right?
It's like a hurricane came through.
For sure. We've seen it a few different times now. And
too funny.
There's garbage. It's amazing what people leave behind. I found a couple of really nice water bottles just sitting there the next day. But there's tons of garbage, and when you're getting there we usually get there 6:30, 7 o'clock to set up, so we get the first look at the chaos.
I do. Let's see here. So K-Mac, tell me. So Catherine and Jesse won 2 golds. Mm-hmm. Tell me what you think about no Benny on Sunday.
Yeah, obviously, a lot of people have been talking about it. I'll say this. I think with where pickleball is at, kind of the first year of a full pro tour, I think Ben being young, him being dominant. I mean, a sport needs superstars to, get the conversation rolling. So I think his dominance was really good for the game. My opinion, him showing that he's human lately and not winning every event is also good for the game. I think it's showing that there's a lot more people that were right there, that were close, that are stepping it up. And I don't know if Ben's playing worse or just everybody else is adding things in. Certainly something a few months ago, nobody would have predicted him to not make a championship Sunday. Right. Obviously he's always got good partners, and he's been the number one ranked player in singles for a while. But I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a reflection of how much more depth the game is getting, specifically on the men's side, but the women's side as well.
Yeah. I think you're spot on. It was great to see his dominance, and even though I was kind of in the center of all that,
right on the other side of that.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think you have to give the guy mad respect for winning that consistently for that long, and obviously when you're in that position, everybody's coming at you, and so it's not easy to be done. But in the same sense, yes, it is nice to know that man puts his underwear on the same way and he puts his socks on the same way and that he drinks the same water, because for a while I didn't think he was human. And to be honest, I think some people see this now. When you take the top dog off his throne for a little bit, you actually believe.
Yep.
Or when you see somebody else do it, now you believe. And believing is 80% of it. It is.
It's blood in the water, right?
Totally.
The other sharks are smelling it. Once somebody knocks him off, then you've had a couple matches where you've been close.
You see, he's just a little vulnerable.
Like you said, that extra little bit of belief when you're right there is sometimes the difference to jump you over the hump. I think if we want to get into tactics, why is he more vulnerable maybe in doubles than he used to be? Yeah. My opinion is people are being willing to play to him earlier in the points, which I think maybe hurts his hands a little. I think he got in such a rhythm for a while with teams avoiding him, of just exclusively falling in that role of being the off the ball player, right, where anytime he sunk his teeth into a forehand, it was point over. But you've got to account for a few more variables when you're
blocking a lot more now too, right?
Yep, you're having to work the point a little bit more. And then I think singles, to me, I mean, we look at Zane and some of the other guys, I would say in the last 6 months or so, maybe feel free to agree or disagree with this, but it seems like cat and mouse has been a little less frequent. I mean, Zane is ripping the cover off the ball, and that limits what Ben was the best in the world at, slowing things down and working the angles. So as the ball striking's getting better, it's giving people more of what I would call like a puncher's chance in boxing. You don't have to have the better game in every category if you can play more points on your terms. And watching the match he lost to Zane, it seemed like Ben was feeling the need to play a little faster and more aggressive himself, because it's tough to string together 4 or 5 points that last that long when your opponent's getting cheap points,
Right. Yeah, and the goods that Zane brought against Ben was the exact same goods, if not even better, that he brought against me. I mean, scary. Like,
from start to finish, it was.
Yeah,
it's
one thing to lose to Benny in that like methodical cat and mouse game. It's a slow death, but something totally different to just get like blown off the court like that. I mean, he's banging the serve, ripping third balls. I mean, his third ball has so much spin on it, and then on top of that, like I had mentioned to you, I felt like previously when I was playing Zane, as long as I could neutralize the return and defend my fourth, I felt like his fifth and his seventh wasn't as good as his third. And so I just had a high percentage of winning the point if I could stop the train with those 2 balls. Right. Now his fifth and his seventh and his ninth is maybe just as good as his third. He's starting to hit the backhand a lot better. He's got more dexterity. He can roll the backhand cross. He can poke it up the line. He can flatten it out cross as well, not just roll it cross. Yeah,
it's tough to come up with a game plan.
It was a complete. I mean, you watched the match. It was a complete bloodbath. And kudos to that man. I mean, it's as well as he's been playing. Like he won Hilton Head. He won Texas. He won Hilton Head, and then back-to-back PPA. Won Vegas. To me, he is he's king right now. He's playing at a very high level, and I don't know if I'd call him king because, at the Atlanta tournament, the APP Atlanta in September, Ben beat him pretty handily.
Yeah.
Beat him in 2 in the finals.
Right. This is the first time he's beaten Ben. Well, I don't know. Is it the first time he's
It's the first time he's beaten Ben, for sure.
First time he's ever beaten Ben. Gotcha.
Yes. First time he's beaten Ben. So,
But he's won 3 tournaments in a row.
He's won 3 in a row. Ben didn't play Texas, right?
Right.
Didn't play singles
but Ben didn't play Texas, so this probably of all the victories, probably felt the best for him to beat all the top dogs. And it's just funny too, because I was helping, trying to coach here on the sidelines during the singles match, and I think we both felt like
keyword being trying,
right,
trying
to give you some advice, but I think we both felt like if there was a way to slow things down, work the points and the angles, that you had an advantage in that cat and mouse setting. But when your opponent tees off on the return with a flat ball, it's pretty tough to hit an aggressive roll or kind of work the angles. So it's tough tactically to know what to do if your opponent's not missing returns but being that aggressive to string those runs together. So he'll be a puzzle that lots of people will be trying to solve for the next few months here.
For sure. Let's see here. Sold out camp on that Monday. We had 28 for the first day,
for day
and then
one,
26 for day two. Had Kyle there. Had Mr. Sperling, and probably one of our better groups. Like, wouldn't say they asked a lot of questions, but they were just easy. Like, I feel like they were good listeners. Both like levels made sense. It was appropriate. Nobody complained. And I felt like, they just like truly enjoyed the camp, enjoyed the pros.
Willing and eager to learn.
For sure.
I know I've been in that boat where when you're teaching a group dynamic, you're picking your moments, right? Because there's a lot that you're paying attention to. But when you find somebody where there's, you find an opportunity for a good piece of advice, when someone's just kind of giving you the yeah, and you can kind of tell it's just glazing over and they want you to get the heck out of there.
It's not really.
It's harder to feel that validation and wanting to
sure.
continue to take personalized time. But I would say every time I took somebody aside, they were very receptive, which makes you feel better as an instructor, and just kind of a positive vibe for the 2 days.
It does give a little tap on the back. But campers were great, and actually this is probably one of our first camps where I think we only had probably a couple, like 2 or 3 people in the camp that played the PPA event. We had probably 90% of the campers all fly in specifically for the camp. So always love to see that, obviously love to piggyback camps after PPA events and love what PPA brings to the table as far as marketing for the camps and stuff like that. But when it's a PPA base camp and I see 90% of the crew not even play the PPA tournament and they just come for us, love that.
That's a compliment.
Love that,
sure.
baby.
That's a compliment. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. So lots of good feedback. Got a few testimonials via email after the camp. So overall, as much as I love kicking ass on the court, truly appreciate, meeting new campers, seeing their games go full circle, and those 2 days we get to spend with them is pretty neat.
Yeah, I think if you don't have a little bit of a high, helping somebody get better, then long-term coaching is probably not for you. So you got to love that moment when you can help somebody, when you kind of see what you're doing for their game in the short term, but also kind of seeing what long-term you might be able to do with some of these very talented people that are dabbling in pickleball these days.
For sure. This portion of the episode is sponsored by Selkirk TV. This is the Boiler Breakdown. We are bringing you the men's final match from the Las Vegas PPA. Unfortunately, Ryan and I ended up losing this one, but lots of good coverage. And we're going to run through anywhere from about 8 to 12 points here and break some stuff down.
We are in the boiler room now.
Okay, we got Rye popping overheads.
There was a lot of space back there. It was tough to put the ball away, seemed like.
There's Stone with his famous block that always gets down.
Wow, how did I make that one work?
Okay, we're going to run this back here.
Let's see this really start here. Okay.
All right, so Rise popping overheads. There's nothing more deflating than this ball right here. Oh no, 14 feet away.
And you come at it and
hang on real quick here.
Block that on a dime?
So I was kind of back there, was able to buy myself a little time, get myself out of trouble. But this block right here from Adam is
pretty
something
crazy.
that he did so stinking well. I'm going to run this here and go. It's got pace, gets down. I try to find that right shoulder. Okay, got myself out of trouble there, but it's a little dicey. Okay, so we're gonna run the second point here. All right, so we got Stone dropping a third. Look to go back behind deck.
Nice little reset dink by Deckel there. Dinking behind him, which you're always playing with fire in this match with this offense you were earning.
Gosh, the guy's just an earning machine. Pop one up.
Got a little lucky that caught the tape there.
Missed the block. Disgusting. Make the block.
It's kind of your bread and butter there. Interesting that, for the viewers, as that point got going, Tyson stayed back. Maybe other people would have felt that need to panic and try to get into the kitchen, but you just had a little bit too much height on those balls to feel comfortable to take positioning in, and allowed you and Riley to stay staggered, which is something that you guys do, that modified I formation a bit at times, maybe more than other teams.
Okay, Max, you want to run us through this here?
Yeah, let's have a look here. Okay, so you guys are in a position of strength. Adam neutralizes here. Like I said, playing with fire, going back behind Deckel. Deckel goes back cross court. Probably a good pattern for you guys with Riley's two-handed topspin dink versus Deckel's slice, but weren't able to stay in it too long throughout the match.
Yeah, and that ball that I popped up definitely hit the line, but Adam hit a push dink. Okay, drop one. And then
Yeah, I think that's the block that if you get that one down, that's probably the one that you're going to try to take positioning and get out of that staggered position, but not easy to do every single time, that's for sure.
Okay, drop a third over to Adam. Got that odd formation. Ryan and I like doing that. As Kyle just mentioned that. Watch this here. Boom.
It allows Riley to jump over, get in their sights, and pick balls off in the middle, which is what he's close to the best in the world at doing.
Yep. So again, show this again. I dropped the third. I'm actually naturally staying back. Something that if you go back and watch Mr. Yates and John's from like 2018 to 2019
when they were
2 years.
When they were pretty damn dominant.
Kyle would do the exact same thing. Kyle would drop the third, naturally stay back. Ben moves in. Ben is acting like a shark, and he's looking to obviously guess and kind of poach and move at the right time. But there's something to be said when you have this odd formation or you have this disconnect, and Rye is kind of baiting Adam into either going at him, in which Adam probably doesn't want to do, or go back behind him, or go hard cross, in which, as we see, Rye takes off and ends up poaching here.
Yeah, it makes the hard cross play a risk, right? And I think what it does too is so many teams at all levels get stuck in transition because you hit a decent third shot drop, but opponents now are just wailing on their fourth balls, which make a really difficult block in mid-court. But what Adam has to do here, or has to think about doing, is if he wants to keep the ball away from Riley, really he's got to play a softer dink. That's the safety zone shot, which then you would have all the time in the world to come up and neutralize on your terms. So it takes away his aggression of just peppering at your feet as you're sitting there in transition.
Yeah, and I think something that we can touch on here is that if you feel like you have way too much traffic when you come in and you're staying back and staying as a unit, what about if you feel like your partner can beat your opponent head to head, but you guys have been trying to come up, but you're feeling too much traffic? What about like getting in their vision and forcing them to like take a little pace off of their fourth, which in turn obviously makes you feel less traffic as you come in. So
that's why some of those elite players can change the course of a match without even touching a ball, just because of their court positioning.
Presence, yeah, for sure.
It changes the shots on the other side of the court.
So let's say that added presence off of that disconnect, if you're feeling lots of traffic as you're in transition, can force your opponents to maybe second guess their fourth or their sixth, which in result will make you feel less traffic as you come in. And I kid you not, it makes life a whole lot easier when you have light traffic.
Yes, it does.
Okay,
that's a good point.
So fourth point here. Okay. I'm gonna boom.
Big old Deckel serve.
Okay, Deckel's obviously doing the same thing here, just like what Rye did.
Squeezing middle.
Yeah, I mean, Adam, for God's sakes.
You're wanting to find Adam's feet, but it's not that easy.
How many stinking balls?
God. His resets were on point.
Right. God. And honestly, too, that was probably one of the few times where I went at Deckel's.
The inside hip.
Yeah, the inside hip. And look, and he was earning, and he still, I mean, for gosh sakes. But, I mean, I think something to watch here is look at the defense by Stone. Deckel played a large portion of the court, and he was the aggressor. But got to give your hats off to Stone. The guy scrambled like there was no tomorrow.
Doing all the dirty work back there.
Cleaned up garbage. Cleaned up all that dirty garbage. Again, watch this. Rye goes at him. Again, block.
Goes back to the reset. And I don't mind this trigger pull on Deckel there. It's pretty impressive that he can have that good of hands leaning the wrong way, getting ready for an
And to be honest, I'm pretty sure this ball was going out that I hit because my hands were late to getting out.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Bailed him out a little bit.
I mean, come on, don't be hitting out balls. Yeah, I don't know.
It's tough. I mean, look, he might have mishit it a little, but yeah, I would say normally that height you probably want to let go, but it just depends on how clean.
And there's something that we mentioned, something we always mention as we teach is don't think that your hands are slow. I mean, obviously there's certain times where you may realize that your hands are slow, but when you've sped up or when somebody drives at you and it's up a little higher, maybe it's like above chest level, and you feel like your hands are late to getting up. Yes, maybe your hands are slow. If it has topspin on it, or simply if it's flat and it's going through, you got to ask yourself, like, are my hands slow or is this thing going out? Because there's a large portion of the time where you hit a kitchen speed up, the counter comes back in a hurry, it comes up high and you're trying to re-counter, but it's up here and it's actually going out. You will never know until you let a couple go.
Yeah, I've heard you teach on that. Like the moment you feel that you need to break technique is usually the point where that ball's going out.
For sure. So let's say, if you're looking to counter or re-counter and you feel like your hands are like fumbly or your hands aren't organized or you're having a break technique, please let that sucker go.
There's an easier way.
Okay. Boom.
Next from here.
A lot of thirds over to Stone. Deckel was driving the living piss out of the ball, and his drive is pretty low with that engaged pursuit.
One of, if not the most powerful paddle out there these days.
Okay, love this camera angle. Got our wide angle going on. This angle's the best. That little,
I agree. You can
in.
see what people are doing with spin at the kitchen line.
Yep. You'll notice in this match there's a lot of right to right foot, or so there's. This makes sense. Go back here. So in this particular match, you'll see a lot of dinking with the person on the left looking to kind of dink up the line, but dink to the person on the right's inside foot. So there's a lot of, if there's two guys on the right on their inside left foot, there's a big gray tunnel on that particular spot in the court. Why? It's an uncomfortable inside out backhand, or it's just an uncomfortable backhand you have to hit. You see your partner moving in, and so there's just a lot of chaos and a lot of added stirrup by finding that inside foot. If you go back to the Johns and Wright match, playing Stone and Barr in the semis, literally probably like at least 60% of the dinks, the location was on the right side person's inside foot. A ton. Ton. And so you're getting pop-ups there. It's funny how, like, at the highest level, how much activity there is with dinking towards that left foot.
No, it's funny. I mean, I would say even other matches where you've played, Adam and Deckel, it seems like the middle dink is a common thing, and it's partially because I think because of Deckel. Because if you can kind of dare him, you can dare him to go a little too far, it might open up going back behind him. But also, when he can Ernie almost at any point, having that whole third of the left side of the court be kind of a danger zone, it makes you want to push those dinks a little bit more to a centralized location, and more of an awkward or limiting ball for Adam and his offensive options than just putting it on his forehand.
For sure. Can run this here. Okay. Adam and I in our usual forehand to forehand battle.
Looks like Riley gets something to work with pretty soon here.
This is Adam and I's. This is not our first rodeo going forehand to forehand. I'll tell you what.
It's a common pattern.
If you watch the U.S. Open final, there's about there's at least 20 points in that particular match where it's over 50 balls dinking cross. So something that Adam is starting to do is starting to speed up a lot out of the air, and why a good portion of why they beat Wright and Johns is because Adam freaking went at him and tested Ben. I kid you not, he tested him pretty early. Watch this, out of the air, goes back behind him. We've lost to this team a couple times this year, and I kid you not, Adam has been beating Rye in that pattern that used to never happen, and now it is.
Well, I think, for viewers out there, to me, I think this is one of the things that separates maybe like a 5-0 from a pro, is being able to, when you get that first pop-up, not necessarily finish the ball off, but be able to find locations with that. And he was able to take some pace off and go back behind Riley just often enough to win, I would say, the majority of those exchanges when he was initiating out of the air.
For sure. And just like what K-Mac mentioned here too, it's not about the pace.
It's really not.
If you disguise well, you can speed up at lower paces, or you can speed up at a lower pace and look to find a better location. Adam does a great job of that. He mixes the pace up, chooses different locations. So I mean, you got to kind of ask yourself what sort of counterattacker is in front of you. If you feel like that counterattacker hits a lot of outballs, maybe someone like a Dave Weinbach, wink, wink. If you're playing someone like that, I would say, hey, speed up a little harder and a little higher and more towards the jugular.
Tempt him a little bit.
If you're playing somebody that is a more calculated counterattacker, they have better ball trajectory, they block a bit more, then you're going to have to be a bit more precise with your locations.
Well, if you look at the speed up too, he went to Riley's two-hander, which Riley had a big cut on, but because he took a little pace off of it,
he was early.
The ball got down, and then Riley was hitting low to high. If he would have hit that his full weight of shot, Riley probably would have clocked it back at him.
And I'm gonna ask you something here. Do you want to speed up to Riley's forehand, or do you want to speed up to that forehand that goes down, or do you want to speed up to his backhand that goes through you?
Exactly. I think the scouting report when Riley was newer on the scene was avoid that amazing two-handed backhand, and then people started realizing, wait a second, the forehand is the one that you really don't want any part of because it gets down. It's a simplified, shorter motion, and obviously his two-hander is great, but the forehand is the real game changer and counterpunch.
And I mean,
he's thrown out a couple of fingers.
Oh, baby.
Couple of Matumbos
I saw at least 7. I saw at least 7 in about 4 matches in Vegas.
Riley knows how to make your ego feel about this.
He does.
He gets you either with the finger, or the one I love is
he does make your ego feel pretty small.
He doesn't make out calls, right? He's the only one I know that throws in the way out. Right? So he just twists the knife a little bit. Way out.
He may get that from right, and that is a perfect partnership for next year.
Are they planning on playing together?
They are.
Okay, I didn't know.
They are planning on playing together.
All right, so get ready for those way out.
Way out.
Way out.
It's all good. That's just the Rye special, baby. Gotta love him for that.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, drive at stone, punch, block, get in. Everybody's up
Eventually
and
able to
established.
neutralize. Kind of a different formation. You and Riley have not done a lot with you on the left and him on the right, but you guys mixed that up quite a bit this match.
I want to know, like, how good are these hops right here? How good? Either how good are the hops or how shitty is this lob?
Is your vertical better than a piece of toast?
Here we go. Let's see it. Where do you watch this? And I mean, look at the hops. That's terrible.
I'm not totally sure if the left foot left
a terrible
the
lob.
I think that was a little bit of a present.
Stone.
There.
Thank you.
Thanks, Adam.
What a gentleman.
Nice guy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure just my left big toe got off the ground. Okay. Point number 8 here. You see me doing some work on the left, letting Ryan know that,
and interesting, this is the point where I think for temporarily they switched to Adam to go cross with you and put Adam on the left as well. They didn't stay with this in the match, but
and ATP, come on, babe, come
Adam
on.
giving you a little too much and you taking advantage of it.
Stone, you're generous. He's a gentleman. He is a gentleman. Let's see here. So we have So I'm taking dinks out of the air, using a little top spin, dinking inside out. Adam takes one out of the air. So, and I think, let's go back here real quick.
Neither of you guys back up too much at the kitchen line. It seems like you're both willing to kind of hold your ground.
And I'm going to pause it right here. Boom. Okay, actually, I'm going to do that. Okay, so Adam just took that dink out of the air. Adam took that dink out of the air in his red zone.
Yep.
Okay. So as he takes that out of the air in his red zone, obviously it takes a high skill set to be able to control that ball when you're taking balls out of the air in your red zone. So as we see here, I hit a push dink over to Adam. Adam tries to take it out of the air. With that, that's when he gives me the opening. So we see, even at the pro level, we see pros, if they get a little too extended, they end up losing some control on their dink. And as we see here, Adam ends up dinking it too wide, gives me license to pop this ATP, and I'll take that slice of the pie.
Kind of the other pro tip that I've heard is, when you're trying to recognize if an angled dink is going to open up enough to be able to go around the post, the closer the contact point is to the net from your opponent, the more likely that angle is to open up. If they're deeper or contacting outside the kitchen line, it certainly still could open up, but much less frequently. The closer you are to the net, the more extreme that angle is. So good recognition and execution to win that one off. I like it.
Okay, Ryan, let's see that serve. Okay, get that thing in there. Okay, the ball had a little junk on it. This is when it's going to start getting windy.
Riley's,
Look Look at this.
Closing.
Look at the D.
Clogging
You can't
middle.
get a ball past the Rye, man. Swing. Big swing.
Countering from midcourt. It's all right.
Little mid-court counter.
Mix it up a little. Okay, leaves a little forehand.
I can't tell you how many.
Look at the resets.
God,
Unreal.
Deckle, stop it. Stop it.
Oh,
I can't tell you how many stinking times I found Deckel's right hip and the guy somehow found a forehand. Okay, let's run this again. Drop. Okay, Riley's just getting.
He's closing.
He's closing. Gets one down. Okay, this is when it gets interesting. Swing. Riley, look how much dirt is on that forehand slice dinker.
Oh, he's got a lot of backspin on that thing.
I mean,
he waits
that thing has got so much grease on it.
He keeps that thing very, very low.
But as we see here, so Rise push dink puts me in a position
Gives you
where
the lift.
Yeah, Adam pops it up, speed up. Adam, of course, gets one down. When does Adam not get one down? And then Deckel, for gosh sake.
Yeah, and you guys were in control there. But yeah, Adam's resets, neutralized, and then that's just such a tough play. It seems like when you're cross court, that's the one time where you're safe to dink there, and the Deckel is the exception to the rule.
Well, and like this happens so many times too, where Adam's back scrambling. Deckel is like
fully clogged in the middle.
Right, he's clogged, and he's lurking. And if I try to be aggressive and like test Adam and go like give him a pickleball petty or find his shoelaces or find his red zone and go too deep, then Deckel comes in.
Right.
So that situation, like Deckel basically forced me to play soft and was like enhancing Adam's defense just by the added clog, you know? Mm-hmm. So there's something to be said, like, you know, if you can play a bigger role and look to poach a bit more and just play more middle when your partner's back and scrambling, it actually like enhances their defense. You know what I mean?
Because it limits your aggression.
It does.
Right?
It limits my aggression, and so I'm having to just kind of like dump balls in the kitchen, or I guess go cross court,
right, and just keep it down.
Yeah. So I think just something to be said, like if you're feeling traffic as you come in, or if your partner is back scrambling and they're having a hard time there, like you should be looking to poach and get in your opponent's vision just to make their defense, or to, I guess, maybe give them time to come up, or to force your opponents to second guess being aggressive in that scenario.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see, here's run it. Okay. Ernie, stop. Too many of those.
It was funny.
Sick of
So
that.
to me, I mean, obviously we'd have to, Deckel played amazing, but one of the things you wouldn't think would work that I think you did about 3 times all successsucally was
Inside out dink?
speeding up at him cross court.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's
Yeah, right.
leaning and looking to
Right.
jump so much. Normally, you know, for viewers that newer to the sport, normally when you're speeding up, you have more success attacking the person lined up in front of you, and you're maybe going to attack a little less often cross court because they've got more reaction time. But Deckel being as aggressive with his court positioning and looking to Ernie so often, it looked like you were able to catch him leaning the wrong way, speeding up cross court a few times. Obviously not on this one, but a few other points throughout the match. So maybe that's the ticket against Deckel. Maybe you speed up cross against him every now and then. Who knows?
Okay, let's see here. Got the big man serving, banging that thing in. Serves a little high. Just kidding. Look at that tweener. Dad, come on, you can't Ernie and hit tweeners.
He's bringing it all out.
He is. Man, I'll tell you what.
out.
I mean, this match was a complete highlight reel for Mr. Barr.
He earned this gold for sure.
He did. I mean, and Adam, don't get another one down. I've seen enough of it. Okay, drive it deck. Rye comes in.
Little shake and bake.
Oh, the ball hits the tape.
You guys are in control. A little unlucky.
No. Look at the ball hits the tape again. It's a circus point. ATP.
And then another. Yeah.
I can't tell you how many points like that slipped out of our hands. It was weird. It was one of those matches where I felt like there were so many times where we were in control of the point. We would have a high ball, and whether it would hit the tape or Adam would play good defense or Deca would pinch, and so we can't be aggressive. Yeah, they did a good job of like not being in control of the point and kind of losing that gain, but like being able to neutralize, and how deflating that is when you're winning a lot of these battles mid-point and then you end up losing the point. You know what I mean?
No, deflating's a perfect word, and that's
that's
what great defense does, right? Is it makes you second guess, it makes you go for a little bit more, just have that voice in the back of your head saying, "What does it take to win a point?
What does it take?" So I'm run this again here. So little drive. Right gets a high ball, top of the tape. And Adam looks to speed up, top of the tape, rolls over, ATP. Come on, Tyson. Tyson, be better. Just okay is not okay.
Yeah, putting top spin on your push dinks is great, but it does open up that angle a little bit more, so where you have to you run that risk of giving your opponent the ATP.
Okay, so we've got a few more left here. Okay, I don't think Adam missed a drop the whole match.
And like you said, seemed like you were mostly returning to Adam because you were a little worried about the big deckle forehand drive. 1 point.
Okay, so okay, look how much wind. So if you guys can see this here, so Adam hits this drop, and then look how it just literally takes off.
It's just swirling.
And then,
yeah, you can
slides
see the
over.
shape.
All right, so we got Rye slinging that aggressive slice dink, pushing that thing cross. And so I think, why Adam sped up there. So let's go back here.
Riley had to put a little more air under that one.
Well, I think, and a tricky thing too is that, Ryan and I never play in this formation. Honestly, this is the first time in 2 years where we had to resort to me on the left. And I think I showed the world that I'm halfway decent on the left. But with that being said, we're fighting over middle balls, dude. I'm so used to being in a box on the right.
And Riley's so used to just clogging the middle and using his hand speed, but yeah. So
and obviously Rye's used to this formation, plays this formation with Catherine, has played this formation the last couple of years with his sister. Adam comes, and I don't know.
And if there's anything that you lose there, so Riley's fully clogging middle, right?
Right.
But the few shots he's hitting are backhands, right? When he's on the left and he clogs middle, we just talked about this. He's got a great two-hander, but the forehand's the one that really gets down and gets you guys ahead in the point. The backhand is more pace driven, and he's more susceptible to lifting that a little bit more, which puts you guys more at a disadvantage.
Okay, last point here. All right, we're at 8-10, game 2. Game 2 was a killer. We actually had a game point at 12-11 and then lose in 5. And so after we lost in 5, I was thinking about that game point, of course, in game 2. All right, here's some typical Newman.
Working the defense.
Newman gutty stuff. Block, Declan Ernie's.
Ernie's off the floor.
Okay, now we're in.
Okay.
And Adam missed that. Lot going on there.
Big point. When it's
big point. Yeah, and so this obviously brings us to 9-10. 9-10-1. 9-10-1. Okay, Papa.
Drive drop combo lifted your drop a little bit, so you guys are back defending.
Okay, but and I think we've talked about this before. Anytime you're back playing defense, and you don't have time to drop one in the kitchen, or you don't have time to be precise with your defense, sling up a lob, get back to the baseline, buy yourself some time. You can only offend if you have time. And so as we see here, we throw up a few lobs. Once they put a ball on us that doesn't have as much pace, then we dump it and we are in.
You're waiting for that right moment to take that risk, and that was the moment right there.
Dump one. Okay. Pop that one up. It's a little high bouncing, but we came in and crashed. I punched one back at Adam. Adam tried to go back behind Rye and ends up missing it wide. So I think a good example of turning D into O.
Little offense. I think the location, it looks like Adam missed one that he had a shot at, but that's an awkward ball when your opponent's speeding up cross court, defending that right hip. There's usually a little bit more motion there on the forehand side, and he just lifted it just a little bit.
All right, that was the Boiler Room Breakdown by Mr. K-Mac and I. That portion of the episode was sponsored by Selkirk TV. Appreciate you guys and appreciate Cooper Deck for putting that together.
Absolutely.
Okay, so next topic here is APP stipend. So a couple things that we know. Looks significantly less than the PPA. Okay. I can't talk about what I'm getting paid, but I will say that. Both young pros and senior pros are getting paid out like that. Don't believe that is happening for the PPA. I could be wrong, but I do not believe that is happening. Prize money split for the APP with young pros and senior pros. It's 70-30 or it's 60-40. PPA is 80-20 or it's 90-10.
So significant difference in their vision and what they're trying to value going forward.
And K-Mac, run us through the APP Tier 1 stuff and then the APP tournaments entry fees, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So kind of cool. So it looks like they're going to be paying the top 10 men and top 7 women a stipend. So with that stipend, your entry fees will be covered. And then the stipend is tiered I think lowest, if you're, around 10th, or for women 7th, 250 is what you'd get. And then the highest, the number 1 ranked person would be 1,000. So everything kind of in between there. But what I thought was kind of cool was the top 12 for men and top 6. Not sure why they just didn't keep it the 10 and 7 still.
Ken Herman.
They're just trying to make it tough on us. They're giving providing free lodging at whatever the hotel that hosts or sponsors that tournament. So, from a pro player's perspective, if you can go into a tournament and say, hey, my entry fee's covered. I've got a little bit of money to help cover the flight or the rental car, and then I don't have to worry about paying for a place to stay. If you can break even getting to a location and you're a top player, you've got to feel pretty good about your chances of walking away with some money in 3 different events, for chances at that. And then, a lot of these top players have some sort of a matching system in place with either outside sponsors or their paddle sponsors. So, it seems like when you do the math, they're giving people an option or an opportunity to start making some solid money if you are one of those top rank male or female players. Definitely, I have to say too, it definitely seems like, it's a little bit of a bidding war right now between PPA and APP. PPA tried to lock in, the top players to get them to sign, and based on needing to play a lot of tournaments to get points. And forgive me for the lodging. It also said you had to play or commit to 12 Tier of the 15 Tier 1 APP tournaments. So Ken's trying to get the commitment of the top people and trying to incentivize them for the loyalty. And I think it's good for the sport. It'd be interesting to see which people, choose not to sign with the PPA, and those people will be very much in contention for a high ranking on the APP. Tyson, can you talk about how many tournaments you're allowed to play? Because you've signed with the PPA.
Yeah.
How many are you allowed to play outside?
I can play 6 outside.
Okay.
To be honest, I have a couple tournaments kind of lined up for next year outside of the PPA, but we as players, a lot of us are just taking a back seat and just kind of waiting to see like if there's any private events or basically it's, hey, we're gonna come where the money is. And there's, like we were just in Missouri, maybe I should mention this, but there is a little buzz about this 100K private event in Missouri next April. Top 8 men, top 8 women, the whole 100K gets paid out.
Pretty cool.
So like there's a lot of this stuff taking place and popping up pretty quickly. So the last thing you want to do is pull the trigger on a bunch of APPs that are like 60Ks and have 40% of the prize money. Nothing against senior, because I love my seniors and I have seniors that work for me, Cammie and John Sperling, and I know they're big APP people. Absolutely. But at the end of the day, if I can go play top 8 women, top 8 men, it's only young pros, and it's 100K. Like I will take that all day long over a 60K APP. So I'm just kind of camping and waiting, and simply waiting to see where the dough is.
Yeah, it seems like one of the major differences, and I could be wrong here, but definitely if you look at the payouts, APP is putting more money into the seniors. The seniors also have the opportunity for a stipend as well. But correct me if I'm wrong, PPA does not factor singles in to the kind of the points or who signs?
They do. Okay. It's just a smaller appearance fee. Correct.
For singles.
Yeah,
and proportionally, the payout is less
significantly
for singles.
Much smaller appearance fee for singles. I mean, so what is a fact is that the APP loves singles. The PPA could really care less.
Right. And it shows that from a financial standpoint.
Right.
So it seems like
it shows that
PPA said, hey, we want to put more of our eggs in the basket of the top under 50 pros for doubles more exclusively, whereas APP seems to financially value singles a little bit more and has spread the money out a little bit more with the seniors. I'm not going to say right or wrong either way, just kind of some of the differences between the tours. But I think it's obvious that there's a fight for loyalty a little bit, because if yourself can only play 6 tournaments, and all the other people that are similar boat where they've signed with the PPA, they're not going to be in contention for that ranking of the top 12 to be able to get free lodging. So they're trying to incentivize maybe some other people or people on the fence of maybe having that option to opt with who chooses kind of which schedule.
Right. Okay, so Illinois and Penn State. If you guys watched that game, it was pretty wild. Did you watch that game?
I didn't watch it. You were telling me about it. I mean,
yeah, it was 9 overtimes. Illinois went for 2 in the 9th overtime, which is smart. I mean, I would
get this thing over with.
Just get this thing over with. So goes for 2, beats seeded or beats ranked Penn State. It's in Illinois, and the crazy thing is that the fans rush the stadium. That like bird's eye view of like 30,000 college kids like mobbing the field is pretty sweet.
No,
it's
can you imagine the energy in that stadium after that
and
win?
How many kids were probably not at their best after that game, if you know what I mean? They've been drinking since about 6 a.m.
Hope you don't have a test the next day, right?
College football games, like if your team plays at 11 and you show up to tailgate at 8 a.m., your day is ruined after the game. Completely ruined.
It's a full commitment.
I mean,
it's a full commitment.
You know, it's a full like 8 a.m. to about 2 p.m. drinking. And if you can keep going after the game, kudos to you. But most people tend to black out around 3 p.m.
Tend to call it.
Yeah. I mean, after the game, you just go home and sleep.
9 overtimes, though. I mean, I don't think I've heard of more than maybe 3 or 4 ever. And what it reminded me of was the Wimbledon match with Isner a few years ago, where
80
like
to 78,
something crazy like that in game 5. I mean, that's obviously even probably more of an anomaly, but 9 overtimes is beyond what I've ever even heard of ever.
For sure. K-Mac, any last thoughts here for the viewers?
Yeah, I would just say I'll throw a little coach's tip out there. You know, when we look at the footage, you know, traditional pickleball was always, well, you know, you need to be on the line all the time, or you're making things too easy from your opponent. Well, I think the mentality now is being much more selective in that transition area of when you decide to make that final step forward. And yeah, it's maybe not an area where you want to live the entire match, but with the game getting more aggressive, you got to pick your moments. Otherwise you're under, as you would say, heavy traffic.
For sure.
If you try to get to the kitchen line, you know, one step too early. So, you know, what I always teach is it doesn't matter, you know, how many shots it takes you to get there. It's just about making sure that you do get there. So, if you can keep your errors or your slight mistakes being above the net rather than in the net and can extend points, good things happen.
For sure. Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn those notifications on to the McGuffin Pickleball Club. If you guys enjoy this content, tell your friends, tell your kids, tell your grandma. Truly appreciate all my subscribers. My name is Tyson McGuffin. This is the McGuffin Show. We are on episode 25 here. Can't wait to see you guys for 26. Have a great day.